Welcome in along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo, and this is your PFF College Game of the Week, brought to you by Eckrich, the official smoked sausage of the college football playoff. Mike, we've got Notre Dame hosting Stanford. Notre Dame coming in at number 9 in this week's PFF College Top 25. Stanford at number 12. One of the best matchups of the entire week. And we have to start at quarterback for Notre Dame. Last week, making the move officially to Ian Book, taking over for Brandon Wimbush. Was this the right move for the Irish?
I think it was the right move. Ian Book, not the dynamic sort of running threat that Brandon Wimbush is, but as a passer, far more accurate, had a 75.8 grade this past week against Wake Forest, very efficient with the football. Brandon Wimbush on the season is only a 68.2 grade. So he was an upgrade in that regard, and he can still do things with his legs, though, in terms of running option looks. You still have to respect him. He's still athletic enough to do that. He might not break a home run like Wimbush might have, but he's going to be good enough with his legs that you can still run those same sort of option looks that help open up holes in your running game.
The accuracy has been an issue for Brandon Wimbush, an adjusted completion percentage only 63.5. Book was at 86.1 so far on the season, so over 20 points difference with the Fighting Irish and their nice receiving core. I think that bodes well for the passing game. Let's go to the other side of the ball. It's Bryce Love, running back for Stanford, starting to find his way a little bit after his near Heisman campaign last year. Slow start to the season, but his matchup with Notre Dame's linebackers, Tavon Coney, Drew Tranquill, one of the best matchups to watch in this entire game.
Yeah, to me, this is the matchup that's going to define the game because Bryce Love, last season you saw, was one of the best home run threats in the nation. He had 35 runs of 15 or more yards. So far this season has been held to 3 runs of 15 or more yards. The missed tackles numbers are still there. He's broken 15 tackles on 59 attempts. It's still a very dynamic running back. Just hasn't found those sort of creases, but like I said, the ability is still there, and all it takes is one. All it takes is 2 home runs, and all of a sudden Notre Dame's reeling. But like you said, Notre Dame has 2 linebackers, and Tavon Coney, Drew Tranquill, very athletic. Coney, 86.0 overall grade, really does it all as a pass rusher, pass coverage, and as a run defender. So they can cover a lot of ground and get sideline to sideline. I'm not sure Bryce Love breaks off one of those long ones.
Yeah, I hear you raving about the Notre Dame linebackers all the time. So this will be a great matchup, watching those guys go up against Bryce Love. And then I think the other key component here, it's a slightly different Stanford team because of the struggles we've mentioned that Bryce Love has this year. It's KJ Costello throwing outside to JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who essentially just plays power forward for them. He runs routes like just a straight up, like, hey, give me the ball in the post. Did it last week against Oregon. Did it earlier in the season in a couple of games. It's really a special connection that they have so far this season. How do the Irish slow down Arcega-Whiteside?
Yeah, I'm not sure they really have an answer for Arcega-Whiteside. He, like you mentioned, can just post up in the end zone against smaller cornerbacks, and Notre Dame's cornerbacks, Julian Love, Tony Jones Jr., are not that tall. They're both they're not sort of have the length that you like matching up with a guy like that. So while they have good ball skills, I'm not sure it's going to matter when a guy like Arcega-Whiteside is that talented at the catch point, as we've seen this year. 151.2 passer rating when targeted, one of the best in the nation. He's tough to guard. Yeah,
and Costello's playing well in his own regard. 82.2 overall grade. He did a nice job. I know Oregon maybe handed Stanford the game a little bit last week.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, but Costello also made some big plays down the stretch. And Arcega-Whiteside, not just a post-up guy. I mean, we joke about that, but man, what a release he had off the line of scrimmage on his last touchdown last week. And he made it pretty high. If you guys go check out the PFF mock draft that's out there this week, he ends up in the first round. Check out where he lands. The one really good matchup to watch, though, it's also going to be in the trenches on that side of the ball. Notre Dame's pass rusher Jerry Tillery, who also made it into the first-round mock, going up against Nate Herbig up front, the guard for Stanford. What are you seeing in that matchup?
Yeah, Jerry Tillery's made himself a lot of money so far this season with his play. A big step forward as a pass rusher from a season ago. Was always a very toolsy guy at 6'6", extremely long arms, very athletic. But this season, he's added a bunch of pass rushing moves to his repertoire. 19 pressures on the season, by far their highest graded pass rusher. So he's going to be a handful for whoever's going up against them on a 3rd and long.
So there you have it. A lot to watch in this one. Stanford, Notre Dame, one of the best games of the entire week. PFF College Game of the Week has been brought to you by Eckrich Smoked Sausage, the official smoked sausage of the college football playoff. Don't forget to pick up Eckrich at your local grocery store for this weekend's tailgate or homegate party, and make sure to visit EckrichFootball.com for great game day recipes and to enter their season-long $1 Million Challenge.